This video contains spoilers for the featured film. All images used belong to their respective copyright owners and are used here for commentary and criticism purposes only. Please remember that statements made are my own opinion and you are free to disagree in the comments, but please do so respectfully. Hey there, Alley Cats, and welcome back to Movie Monday. Today, we are going to be reviewing and discussing the live-action version, and I use the term live-action very loosely because there aren't any actual living creatures, it's just another type of animation, so I'm not really sure why people are even calling it, you know what, never mind, The Lion King, a remake of the 1994 animated classic. If you'd like to skip the plot overview and get right into my thoughts on the film, you can skip to this timestamp in the video. So with that said, let's get right into it. The plot basically follows beat for beat, almost exactly shot for shot as the original. The movie starts off in Africa at Pride Rock, where Lion King Mufasa and Queen Sarabi's newborn son Simba is presented to the gathered animals of the Pride Lands by the mandrill Rafiki, the advisor and shaman. Mufasa confronts his brother Scar as he was not in attendance at the presentation, and Scar is clearly envious of his brother and angry that Simba has taken his place as next in line for the throne. I'm sure he's definitely not planning anything nefarious or evil. Later, Mufasa takes Simba to the top of Pride Rock to show him the Pride Lands and explain that all living things are connected in the circle of life. He also warned Simba against going to the shadowy place past the Pride Lands, so of course, like all children, when told not to do something, he's absolutely intent on doing it anyway. Especially after Scar tells him that it's an elephant graveyard. Simba goes to recruit his friend Nala, and together they ditch Zazu, a hornbill and Mufasa's majordomo, and head over to the elephant graveyard. They are attacked by a group of hyenas, but Mufasa saves them. While he's disappointed that Simba deliberately disobeyed him, when Simba asks if they'll always be together, he says that the stars are the great kings of the past watching over them, and one day he will watch over Simba. But that's gonna be sooner than he thinks, because Scar goes to the hyenas and they strike a deal for them to help kill Mufasa and Simba in exchange for allowing them to hunt as much as they want in the Pride Lands. Scar sets up a trap in a gorge and lures Simba there and leaves him. While Simba is practicing his roar, a stampede of wildebeest is started by the hyenas. Scar goes to alert Mufasa, who manages to save Simba from being trampled, but ends up hanging precariously from a ledge out of Simba's view. Mufasa calls to his brother for help, but Scar instead throws him from the ledge to his death from the stampede below. When Simba finds his dead father, Scar then convinces Simba it was his fault and tells him to run away and never return, then orders the hyenas to kill him. They chase him off a cliffside and assume he dies, but he is able to hide on a small shelf and escape. Scar informs the Pride of Lions of Mufasa and Simba's deaths from the stampede and then takes the throne, bringing the hyenas as his army. Meanwhile, Simba wanders the desert and is found by Timon and Pumbaa, a meerkat and warthog. They take him in and raise him in the jungle under the motto Hakuna Matata, which means no worries. Years later, back in the Pride Lands, the hyenas have hunted the area to a deserted wasteland. Scar tries to persuade Sarabi to be his queen, but she refuses, so he declares the lions will eat after the hyenas, though they don't leave anything behind. This prompts Nala to escape and look for help. Simba has also grown in this time and is living a carefree life with his friends until Nala appears and chases Pumbaa. Simba saves him and realizes it's Nala, so they reunite and feel the love tonight. Although it's not even night, it's like just past morning at the latest, so it's more like, can you feel the love this afternoon? Kind of an oversight, and now the song title doesn't even make sense. But anyways, Nala tries to convince Simba to return to the Pride Lands now that Scar has destroyed it, but he refuses and doesn't want to face his past and still feels guilty over Mufasa's death. So Nala leaves. Simba then stumbles upon Rafiki, who tells him that his father is still alive inside him. Mufasa's ghost also appears and encourages him to take his rightful place as king. So Simba decides to return to the Pride Lands with Nala. Timon and Pumbaa also come along and provide a distraction for the hyenas while Simba and Nala sneak past and arrive just as Scar attacks Sarabi. Simba confronts Scar and tells him to step down. But Scar taunts him about Mufasa's death, which prompts him to admit that he is responsible for his father's death. Simba backs up to the edge of Pride Rock and nearly falls off as lightning strikes the dry brush below and starts a fire. And Scar reveals only to him that he killed Mufasa, enraging Simba and demanding he tell the truth, and Scar is exposed. He commands the hyenas to attack, but the lionesses, Timon, Pumbaa, and Rafiki fend them off. Simba chases Scar to the top of Pride Rock and corners him. Scar presumably surrenders and blames the hyenas for everything, which they overhear, but then he flings hot embers into Simba's face and attacks him. The two fight, but Simba gains the upper hand and tosses Scar off the ledge of Pride Rock. He survives the fall, but the hyenas, angry at his betrayal, attack and kill Scar. Simba then becomes king and makes Nala his queen, and later the Pride Lands return to normal, and Simba and Nala's newborn cub is presented to the assembled animals. Before I get into my thoughts, I have to mention really quick that my experience was rather soured, not due to the movie in any part, but I was very unfortunate on opening night to be seated next to a group of 6 young adults who talked constantly and loudly throughout the entire movie. Oh my god, I'm so excited! Oh my god, look at Simba! Oh, he's so cute! There's Scar! Oh, he's so bad! Oh, yeah, baby, I love this song. This is my jam. Oh no, you guys. This is the scene. OMG, I'm totally gonna cry. No, Mufasa, you got this, boo. You can make it. You got this, honey. Climb for your life, hon. No, shut up, bitch. You cried too. Don't lie. Oh, yes. Fucking Hakuna Matata, yeah. Literally, the entire 2 hours just... Oh, I've never dealt with this before, and what's worse is on my other side were a couple small children who were perfectly quiet the entire time. Children who were more respectful of other moviegoers around them than these people. And with like 20 minutes left, I finally politely asked them to be quiet so I could enjoy the movie, and... what? Oh, we're not talking. Why don't you be quiet? Just watch the movie. Mind your own business. And they even tried to block me from walking past them once the movie was over, which was a whole thing in itself. Y'all, don't be like these people. Not just in this movie, but in anyone you go to see in theaters. It's rude, it's inconsiderate. No one wants to pay $8 to $15 a pop to listen to some obnoxious, loud-ass chattering. Just don't do it. So while the experience of going to the movies itself was quite terrible, I'm not going to let it affect my thoughts on the movie. But I just wanted to talk about that really quick, mostly to get it out of my system. Rant over. So obviously, as I said, this is not live action. It's just a different type of animation, but still looks incredible and amazingly realistic. I love the visuals of it. For the first minute or two, when the animals were going to gather at Pride Rock, I genuinely had a moment of contemplation in my head if certain shots were still animated because they looked so real. I actually thought some of them were filmed nature shots. That is how incredible it looked. Though unfortunately, since it is more realistic, the lions and other animals are unable to have such distinguished facial expressions and show their emotions as well as the original. So while making everything look so realistic is amazing, it does also take away a lot of the personality and emotion, and as a result, most of the characters are kind of bland. Hans Zimmer also returned to do the score, which was so vital to the original. It's pretty much the same, but being redone, it's now more remastered in a sense. It's still very emotional and intense. I actually spent several days before the release of the movie listening to the new soundtrack, which I've never done before. I usually try to go into a new film as blind as possible, and I don't want the first experience of something to be ruined for me, if that makes sense. But even after listening to the original and new soundtrack countless times, both still pack a punch every single time. On the subject of music though, I have to mention that the song Be Prepared is criminally shortened, which I feel like was a huge disservice to the character of Scar. Yes, we know Scar is the bad guy, obviously, but this song really sets up just how evil he is. And it seemed very weird because they left all other songs intact. So I don't know if the voice actor just didn't want to sing as much, I don't know, but I didn't like it. All in all though, this movie is pretty good, but much of what makes it wonderful is carried over from the original. It's certainly much better as a remake compared to many other Disney live-action versions that are so intent on doing something new that they end up ruining the story and butchering the source material because of such drastic and unnecessary changes. I understand that many people want to see something new in these Disney remakes, and I completely understand that. But for me, it's more about taking these classic films that I watched as a child and grew up with and bringing them to real life and transforming them in a sense. So I don't always need some new exciting twist or whatever to enjoy it. That being said, if Disney is going to continue going down this route of live-action remakes, it's not just about doing a shot-for-shot retelling of the original. It's got to improve on what's already been done. Add some smaller aspects and expand on the existing story a bit. The only remakes I can think of that completely succeed in this are Cinderella and The Jungle Book, sort of Beauty and the Beast, but even that one got a little nonsensical with some of the new stuff they added. And as much as I'd like to include The Lion King on that list, I unfortunately can't, since while I think it's still good, I would rather just watch the original. The original Lion King is probably one of the best, if not the best, film Disney has ever created. So the filmmakers were going to be in a bit of a pickle no matter what direction they took. On one hand, you've got people who want them to put their own spin on it, to not rehash the same material, and instead do a fresh take on it. But on the other hand, changing anything from such an iconic, classic, near-perfect film would cause an outrage. It's basically sacrilege at that point. There's a lot of other films that are very nostalgic and enjoyable from back in the day that can be improved on in a live-action version, and although rare, it has been proven that it can be done. However, I just don't think The Lion King was one of them. Despite the best efforts from everyone, especially Jon Favreau, I love him as a director. He even directed The Jungle Book remake. I don't think there was anything they could possibly do to top the original. So while I did kind of enjoy this movie and everyone involved gave it a very solid try, I think the best way to fix this would be just don't make it. The original was fantastic in every way, just leave it alone. No remake of The Lion King is going to have the same heart and soul as the original. And I'm well aware that that may not be something Disney even really cares about as long as they're making those millions and millions of dollars. But I think the best way to fix this would just be to never allow it to exist in the first place. And I feel like the incredible animation and the talent of everyone who contributed to this film would have been much better suited somewhere else. So with that said, I'm going to give The Lion King my personal score of 6 out of 10. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and if you have any suggestions for movies I should discuss and review in the future. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe if you have not already. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye!